when my country needed me, I was there. So I can always say that, as my father was before me, as a World War II veteran.
And today, I want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day, the day that we, of course, set aside in our country to remember those that are that have laid down their lives for our freedom. Now, it reminds me of freedom. Brings up a good point that we enjoy what we didn't enjoy today because of those brave men and women. And while I'm thinking of freedom, I can't help but think about faith. Our country, of course, was established in faith, faith in God. Psalm 33:12 says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord." And I've come today to wish you not just a happy Memorial Day, but hope you're enjoying your family. We're together with our family. We're having our annual family reunion. I believe this is the 4th year. And so I'm not coming to you from Jacksonville, Florida today. I'm coming from near Tampa, Florida, Central Florida. I'm at my sister Rhonda's house, and I have 6 of us all together, brothers and sisters. And so my sister Rhonda's here, of course, my sister Patty, my sister Sue, and then my brothers are here. My brother Ron and my brother Rob and my brother-in-law Ronnie, who is like a brother to me. We've known each other probably for over 60 years or so. And so I'm talking to these guys today since we're talking about family, because we're speaking about heroes. And when we think of heroes, guys, I think of our dad. I do. Preacher of the gospel. By the way, these 2 guys are preachers of the gospel. Ronnie, of course, a deacon, very faithful in his church. But my son Jonathan, who produces our podcast, is a preacher of the gospel. And my nephew Alan is a preacher of the gospel. And my son-in-law Brian is a preacher of the gospel. So we're surrounded by preachers. But I wanted to talk to these guys today, members of my family, and just share with you on this Memorial Day. This is my brother Ron, and this is my brother Rob, as I said, and of course Ronnie. Ron is a traveling evangelist and the founder and president of Ron Cora Ministries, an evangelist who travels and preaches the gospel. Hey, Ron, since I'm an evangelist, we've had this conversation, but talk to me about the church. What do you see in church today? Well, let me put it like this. Do revivals still work?
Absolutely. First of all, you look at the condition of our country and the condition of our church, and they both need revival. But I've been doing this for 24 years, and there's a hunger among God's people. And Matthew 5:6 is clear: "They that hunger and thirst after righteousness, they'll be filled." And I just think people are hungry to know what God has for them today and for the future. Absolutely, without a doubt, revivals are still.
Here's the thing. Church still works.
It does.
It's still preaching, praying, praising.
That's it. That's it.
So, Ron, give us a good memory of Dad or some kind of family memories on your heart.
If you think there are funny stories, we've even shared some today, but what I think when I think of Dad is I think of him giving to us as a family when maybe he didn't have the finances or he lacked the opportunity or lacked in skills, but he never lacked in love.
That's true.
I just mom and dad. I remember Dad raised uh, 5 biological kids, and mom was a stay-at-home mom. He did it on one salary, and it may buy a tank of gas today. And Dad and Mom sacrificed all year long to give us a great Christmas. We never were lacking because of what they did. And then I think of Dad's 60 years in the ministry, and just gave his life to people. And I constantly run into people that have memories of Dad, and that said your father was just went above and beyond the call of duty.
Man of integrity.
That's what I think of when I think of Dad.
Man, that's awesome, Ron. Thank you. This is my brother Rob, and I'll just say this: Rob is the jokester in the family. All right, he makes us all laugh. And I'm just going to cut right to the chase with you, Rob, because I know Ron will agree with me. You're the youngest, 11 years younger than me, 9 years younger than him, and you got nowhere near the whippings that we got.
Absolutely.
We got far more than you.
There's a good reason for that. By the time I come along, Dad needed rotator cuff surgery. His arm was wore out from you and Rhonda and Patty and all of you. So yeah.
Okay,
especially Ron.
Well, Rob, it's an honor to have you with us today.
Well, it's an honor to be Rick Cole's brother. Yeah, I get that all along. I remember when I was in South Georgia, and when I was in college, actually, our preaching professor said, hey, you need to find you a preaching mentor, a pastor mentor. So mine was Dr. Jerry Vines. Of course, he was the pastor of the First Baptist Church of Jacksonville at that time. And so one Sunday, I took off a Sunday, and my wife and I went to First Baptist Church in Jacksonville. I was going to meet my hero, man, my mentor. So they had us put on a name tag on it. So afterwards they had a meet and greet with the pastor, and I had my name up here, and so I'm walking through the line. I'm thinking, this is it, man. I'm going to meet my mentor. And he looked at my name tag. He said, "Hey, aren't you Rick Corn's brother?" And so yeah, that just kind of blew it out of the water there. I
Sorry, Rob.
don't even remember meeting him after that. I guess it's
Well, Rob, it's an honor to have you as my brother. It is. Hey, listen, man, give me a good memory of Dad.
Never forget, 2011 January. I was at church in Quincy, Florida, and we had a Quorum Family Revival. You guys remember that?
I do.
It was on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I had Rick preach on a Friday night. I had Ron preach on a Saturday night, and then Sunday morning we had 2 services. So Dad preached at the 8:30. I closed it out at 11, and I didn't know it then. I felt like Dad, of course, he was in his later years, and so I felt Dad did a great job. Mom shared with me she thought Dad really struggled during the sermon with his thought processes and things. But long story short, it wasn't until a little while later Mom shared with me that January 2011 was the last time Dad preached behind the pulpit of any church.
I had no
so that was an honor. Yeah. And I didn't know it at the time, obviously. But a few years later, she shared that was the last time he ever preached behind a pulpit.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So.
And Ronnie, we go way back. Matter of fact, I was thinking maybe
High school.
I think maybe 10 years old when we first moved to the community because we played Sandlot ball together. Hey guys, you know what hit me? Now this is Ron, you and Ronnie can appreciate this with me. You hit me the other day. This is a little depressing, but I'll go ahead and tell you. In the 1970s, the 70s. Think about this. In the 70s, we were in our 20s. In the 20s, we're in our 70s.
Yeah.
That's not right, man. That should confuse. And think if
Feeling ancient.
Well, if Jesus tarries, we were in the 80s, we were in our 30s, and in the 30s we'll be in our 80s. And I don't know why I thought about that, but that's how far back we go. And football games together and vacations together. And Ronnie is married to my younger sister, Patty. And brother, when did you get saved?
Rick, after a long traumatic struggle with the assurance of my salvation, I received Jesus as my Savior on April 30th, 1975, at about 7 o'clock in the evening in the church office of the church we were attending at that time. Your dad, Bob Corn, being present, and evangelist James Smith being present.
Yeah.
He was one of my mentors.
Through that decision. Yeah. And it was quite a struggle for me, but I drove a stake in the ground that evening and received Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior at that time.
And you are a deacon at your church?
I'm not currently serving as a deacon, but I have served as a deacon at 3 churches.
Okay.
And also contributed in the prayer ministry of 2 churches. Currently, I'm helping lead a life group class in our current church, Bell Shoals Church in Brandon, Florida.
Okay.
And
the reason I'm excited that Ronnie's with us today is because on this little panel here, he's the only one that served in the military.
Yes.
Yeah. And I say this to anybody in the military: you're a hero.
Thank you, brother.
You're a hero.
Thank you, man.
Judy and I, we see somebody in the store, something in the military, we always say thank you for your service.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you, brother, for your service.
Big shout out to anybody who is currently serving in the armed forces, men and women,
right?
Or has ever served in our armed forces, men and women. When I entered the service during the latter part of the Vietnam War, I entered because I had to, because of the draft back in those days. I enlisted rather than being drafted. So I can honestly say I went because I had to. But from this point in time, looking back, it is something I'm very proud I did.
Yes.
Glad that when my country needed me, I was there. Absolutely. I can always say that, as my father was before me as a World War II veteran.
And tell us where your father was. Where did he land?
My father landed on Utah Beach on D-Day.
Wow.
And it was difficult for my father to even talk about his experiences in World War II. And he would tell me his experiences in little bits and pieces so that I was finally able to kind of put together what his career was or what he experienced over those periods of time. I wish now that I had had a running 3-hour conversation with him. I've been able to piece it together. Right. He crossed the Atlantic on the Queen Mary with his whole unit, landed on Utah Beach that day. and told me his experiences of being of remembering what it sounded like when the Germans were shelling the beach that morning. Um, and uh, it was difficult for my father to talk about it. I wish I could talk to him more about it today, but those days are gone. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank y'all. Thank you, Ron and Rob and Ronnie. I'm so grateful you're with us today on the podcast. And let me close just by saying this: we're having a family reunion today. My wife Judy is here, and Ron's wife Pauline, Rob's wife Sherry. Of course, Jonathan and his wife Amanda are here, and some of the grandkids. Not all of our children could be here, but guys, thank you for being with us. But I thought that we're having our family reunion, but my mother and father in heaven.
Yes.
My sister my sister Sue has a husband Clay who went home to be with the Lord in 1996, and husband Pete who went home to be with the Lord in 2021. And Pete was a fireman and a first responder. That's a hero.
Yeah.
And I think about that, and I think about my grandparents and the others. My brother-in-law Alan. This is Rhonda's home, and Alan, her husband's been in glory with him. So you know what, guys? They're having a whole lot better reunion today than we are, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's our family reunion. Hey, let me close with this. I read a story just this week about President George Herbert Walker Bush, our 41st president, and near the end of his death, a reporter said to him, "What are you most proud of? Which accomplishment in life are you most proud of?" Now, this hit me. Think about this. I did some research. He was the youngest naval aviator in World War II. He was barely 18 when he enlisted. He flew 58 combat missions and received the Distinguished Flying Cross. He could have easily said that was his greatest moment in life. Then he was a U.S. congressman, senator in the United States. He was the vice president to Ronald Reagan in the United States. The 41st president had a son later that would be president and a brother that would be governor. You know what he said? When they asked Bush his proudest moment, he said this, "My kids still want to come home." I thought, man, that's really good. Family is everything. Wish your family the very best. Guys, got a word?
Happy Memorial Day to all of you, and family is what it's all about.
God bless you. Thank you for tuning in.